Hello again. Good evening, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. I guess it's Wednesday night. Um, we're doing this again. Thank you for those who are joining. Jessica Jane, 6079 Smith W. And I know there's going to be many more, either tonight or tomorrow or later on. I know that whatever is happening with us, those of you who are familiar with this experience, the Talcottian adventure, the Talcottian journey, it's quite an interesting story, I think, so far. And so I've already pinned the chat or pinned the link in the comments or in the chat for those who might want to join. We are going to open the panel, but I've already made in my mind this isn't going to be a marathon tonight. Estimating, I think a reasonable time would be an hour and a half. There's a lot of good things happening this evening. There's things online I want to explore later, and there's a farmer's market that I love to attend. So life is about doing the things we love. It's about doing the things we want. And let me rewind a little bit. For those who joined last night, I had fun last night, and I thought, every stream, every broadcast is a little bit different. Whether it's on my stream or whether I go have a conversation with others, it's always a little bit different. And last night there was a lot of engagement with the chat and panel, and everyone has been unblocked again, and all are welcome. Now, the only thing, of course, is we do ask, where is it? Be civil, respectful. A reminder, your words reveal your character. Myself and others, I'm sure, welcome questions. And share your fun with your wisdom with your fun. And of course, that's primarily directed for those who might join immediately, but I also want to share value for those who catch up with this at a later time. And so the thumbnail finds your center, right? That's the idea. I was reminded today in conversations that transpired from some of the chaos. I was reminded today about stress, right? And that is a good topic to discuss. Stress is something I know very well, something I've endured a lot of in my past, and stress is a common killer, man. So the idea of finding your center is a method of finding peace, finding the stillness within the chaos of this world. And so I'm going to kind of get into a few things on that topic. And Cage, you're welcome, brother. I don't want to leave you in the back, but I do want to kind of cover some things. So
yeah. Just I'm working in the back. Just continue, and then we'll talk after.
Hey, beautiful. I'm going to keep you in the back for a little bit right now. And for those who want to join, please recognize I may do that. But this topic of stress, it's something everyone deals with, and we all have our different ways, and we all have our different stressors. But stress really is a killer. It's something it can destroy. So I took just a few minutes through a couple of slides together. Here, we'll do this. Welcome, brother.
Is everyone unblocked, Jack?
I believe everyone is unblocked. Yes, everyone is unblocked from StreamYard as well as the channel.
What's up, Paul?
What's going on, Cage person?
What's going on, Paul? Jack? Same old, taking care of business. Working in the back. Working in the background.
Here, let me kind of get into stresses, and maybe it'll inspire some ideas for conversations. But, you know, just basically, we all know stress. It's known as stress, anxiety, worry, depression, hopelessness. And I tell you what, as those feelings stack up, you start to feel shame, um, just despair and anger, frustration, all of that shit. It's all available. We can feel all of these things. Those are all fears. All of the stress, anxiety, the worry, the depression, the hopelessness, those are fears. And what do our fears do? Our fears limit us. They limit the focus of our mind. They become controlling factors in the information we consider. And so fear really is a limiting force. It's very restricting, right? That fight or flight or freeze, fear will cause us to freeze, to stay stuck, to stay trapped, even though we're miserable. Fear confuses us, and confusion results in fear, because you ever felt that? I mean, we've all felt that feeling where you go to do something, you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you get this panic within you. And
Can't fear be a positive thing too, though, Jack? Right? It's like self-preservation in a way. You don't want to put your hand
yes,
in the fire.
there's a time and a place for it, but the topic that I was reminded of today is that a lot of people are just living, they've normalized living in stress. And that's what I did. I remember that lifestyle. So this is real brief stuff. This was something I thought about too. Here, our fear limits us, it restricts us, it confuses us. It's fear is very deceptive. It'll convince us to believe in things that are not true, such as what we have been buried underneath: the constitutional republic, aka American propaganda. We've been buried under bullshit in this land, and I think the fertilizer is deep enough. I think it's time for America to grow, to become this land of the free and honorable, like has been claimed. And I was watching the news you were sharing earlier, Paul. America out there on the seas, claiming to stand up against the Chinese bullies. And, that's a bunch of bullshit. America is a bully in the world, blaming others, making excuses for their behavior. And I think it's time for America collectively, the land that we share, North America, South, fucking everywhere. It's time for some shadow work on the individual level and the collective level. And what shadow work is overcoming the confusion and resolving the lies.
Jack, is it true that you keep bringing everyone else in but Michael?
Yeah, so far that's true.
I don't understand. You say you're unbanning everyone, and now, we can't have Moose here?
He's been disrespecting me since the first time we met, even after my forgiveness, my patience, my kindness, my generosity, even after I showed him trust and respect. He's already been testing my patience again, Paul, and that was the reason I left your company. But if you want him back here, by all means, I try to accommodate.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I just wanted to let you know that the stuff you were talking about earlier is a lot of BS, and we need to get back to you. What's actually important? Jack. Working on Jack.
Well, we can discuss stresses. They're pretty simple to identify and recognize once you're willing to accept that.
Like if I told a lie, that would stress me out.
Hey, Jack, what's going on with you and Moose?
Nothing.
We're trying to fix it. I'm trying to
Nothing
fix it.
is the worst answer because something.
No, Thomas, let me explain nothing. Nothing is happening between me and Moose because I want nothing he has to offer me, at least today. So there was a time I thought he had things I could use that I would enjoy, receiving, but the cost, and I'm not talking about the fiat currency, but the cost I've had to endure for the little bit of support he's offered me. Right now, Thomas, it is best that there is nothing going on between us. And I
To
urge
be
you,
fair though, he's really spoken good things about you, like
when?
in private is what I'm
Oh,
saying. And I get the whole on-air persona thing, but there is a space where Moose cares about you and loves you and will speak good about you in private, and want the best for you.
I don't
So
care. He's too conditional, right? That's that egoic pattern. He puts his conditions on if he's going to show you respect or not. And so since he's a man of excuses and blame, he doesn't want to go out of his way and have to be respectful. He doesn't want to have to follow through with his words. So fuck, it's a sign of laziness. It's a sign of, your words reveal your character, and I have heard many of your words about me, Moose, and Paul, and
Hey, I said some good things about you tonight, Jack. I specifically said that you're actually going out of the box, unlike a lot of other people. You're not going into the community that we've created. You're actually going out of the community and branching out. And I pointed that out. I said even Paul's, kind of slacking on that.
thanks for recognizing it. I mean, honestly, I don't feel like I've got many choices. I haven't really been embraced and welcomed for who I am and what I'm doing, so I'm continuing to look.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to build. Like, it's not out of reach. It's very easy to do, and I don't know. I've tried to tell you guys a few tips on it, but it works for me in my personal businesses, and it has a really great conversion rate. Never mind getting viewers. Viewers are getting easy. Sorry, viewers are easy to get, but like people actually willing to support it or put money down into something, it's a lot harder to do, and even that does very well with these methods there. Paul, you should do it too, man. Do you use IG at all, like Instagram, to drive traffic to your channel, or no?
Dude,
Because you
I'm
can get a
fucking
bunch of new
curious.
people.
Do you have your own YouTube channel, Cage?
No, but I have. Well, I
Okay.
do, but I don't really use it though. It's just like I just play like fucking audiobooks on it and shit. Like hard to find documentaries. I'm not like a YouTube fucking guy. But for
But
me,
you got
I use
something.
yeah, I use Instagram. Like I've been on. I've massive accounts that are targeted directly to Canadian people in the cannabis industry. It's like perfect targeting, and it works very well. Like you build them very quickly too. You know, what you do is you pretty much just siphon and steal everyone else's customers. You go to the competitors, for example. You just go to people. If you can just do the same thing for your thing, if whatever you're doing, and then yeah, you just follow and unfollow all these people. You're like knocking on their doors, and you get a shitload of them. You
Not
just
gonna
siphon
lie,
them
I'm
up.
fucking lost.
I don't
Please
understand.
don't.
Where did my moose creature go?
I don't know. I
He's
didn't
my
do anything.
he's my support animal now, Talcott. That's what I've labeled him. So I bring him wherever as a support animal, and he's there to like really kind of teach us all how to love, right, unconditionally, because he's gonna test you to try to set conditions, right? And so I use people like that to find a better space for myself and others. I don't become the reflection, right? I try to move around it. I might mirror it sometimes, but I don't become it. So, he's my support animal slash ego trigger creature.
I didn't push him to leave. but I respect the choice to
Same.
leave. And maybe it was just the universe. Maybe it was the connection that dropped.
Yeah, his slave link. So what was Cage babbling about? Something else he doesn't know about usually?
No, he's talking about using the other social medias to promote, capture people that might be interested in what you're sharing, and it's some good ideas.
Yeah,
He
Paul,
knows
you
about
blow.
viewers and fucking marketing
I'm
better
good
than
at
you.
this. Yeah, I'm good at this kind of shit. Like I could make anyone's channel on here fucking be huge, guaranteed.
Have you done it yet?
I've done it with my own stuff, very marketed to my niche, everything perfect.
So you're still telling me about shit you could do that you haven't done.
I have done it. I'm doing it now. I'm doing it
No,
now
with this
myself.
place, with me here, with this place, whatever we're doing. Jack Talcott, me, the whole deal.
Well, you have to be incentivized. I have a lot of shit to do.
Incentivized. How about not being a jerk off all your life and part of
Hey, well,
the
I'm telling you how to
group.
fucking. How about you listen and if you want to do it, I'm telling you how to do it. You can do it for yourself. You don't need me to do it for you.
You're right. I don't need you. Stop talking.
You don't want to hear it, then yeah, live in ignorance. That's fine. Yeah. But if you want to grow, it's not really gonna work the way you're doing it. You have to figure out something else because you're kind of just stuck where you're at. If you haven't noticed that.
Well, I think he may be stuck if he is, because there's a little too much truth, too much getting you closer to where you need to be.
I think this goes right along with Jack's topic for tonight on stress. You know, there's a stress is an exerted outside force that can have either a positive or negative outcome. What do you think, Jack? What kind of outcome do you think these stressors are having on you?
Thank you. That's actually a question I didn't really consider, because I've been giving the stress very little attention. But it's obvious that the stress, here, let me tell. Thank you. I've been receiving a lot of people's stress and fears for a long time. I mean, originally that was a role that I took in my profession and some of the roles I found myself in. But these days, it's I added people, and I'm not sure if I should. These days, it confuses me because I'm not living in fear. I mean, I am an example, whether you guys see it or not. I mean, you were witnessing me facing the potential loss of my home, going through the auction, still pursuing justice against the former employer and against the ex-wife. And, I still got a lot of shit stacked up against me that I could be stressed and worried about. But these ideas of what we can do, no offense, Cage, I don't know what Paul was saying, but the way I see it, it's like, hey, Jack, I know how to do all of this, and it's really easy for me. And since I tell you to do it, you should know how to do it like me.
Well, ask questions. I'll tell you how to do it. I could instruct you how to do it. You could do it. What do you do? You sit there all day.
Why do I need to learn? Why do I need to learn how if you're right fucking there and you already know how to do it? I mean, is it something that takes hours and weeks, or is it something you can knock out quick? And if it's something
it takes time every day, consistently. You have to continuously do it every fucking day. It's an ongoing thing.
Well, how about this too? My goals are clear that I want a greater and better world. I believe we share these intentions and ideas. Maybe how we get there, we've got different versions, but we share the idea of a better world. So if that's not incentive enough to be willing to share your talents and efforts, at least in a minimal way towards the success of others, it makes no sense to me. I'm using me as a perfect example for this. I've literally had people tell me, well, Jack, you haven't really convinced me as to why I should help you get your son. You can't imagine the
But why do
benefit.
you want help from all these? Why do you always want help from people? You always like judge people on how much they can help you. Why do you need help from anyone? I don't.
That's a false description. But if you want the answer for
No.
why
But I'm
you
saying you don't
perceive
need
that,
help.
I can tell you.
If you want someone done, do it
Hey,
yourself. Do
Cage.
it.
Hey, Cage.
Jack
Hey,
has a
Cage.
vagina. Jack has a vagina in his mind. He is a pussy. This is Austin.
I think that's Austin Murphy again.
You think it really is?
Yeah, something's up with that guy.
No way that was Austin. Come on.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, Jack. Yeah. Like if you want, I could explain exactly how.
Well,
to do
hey,
it.
actually, Cage, let me come back to what you were saying, right? I get there is a value. Everyone needs to learn to be independent. Please trust me when I tell you that I have. Now, what I'm trying to encourage others in my life to consider is there's value in working together. Combined goals, just even if it's temporarily, it's not a lifelong fucking commitment to offer to help someone overcome a challenge or to help them grow or improve in the direction they're going. I swear, I believe God is using us to tell stories for the future, right? We're here to learn lessons, share the lessons, and the future humanity, they're going to be learning from us.
Yeah, it's like there's stresses that individuals are capable of handling and stresses that you're not capable of handling. So the reason why you would offset a certain job to somebody else is because you're either incapable of handling it or not doing it in the best way possible. So as one exposes themselves to stress, they either strengthen that particular pattern or they become weaker in it if they can't handle it. So that might be why Jax wants to focus on that as a methodology for success. Or you can correct me if I'm wrong, Jack. Go ahead.
No, that was beautifully observed. I mean, one of the things I believe, okay, if you want to succeed, you've got to focus your energy and time. And believe it or not, well, I've been clear. I believe a path towards success in some fashions, whether it be the material realm or in the influence realm, is through this. So I'm sorry, I forgot.
Well, Niall said something amazing, which is that, stress, if you walk into a 50-degree cooler for 15 minutes, you could die, or you could physically put yourself in freezing water with ice all around and hang out there for longer than, the normal time,
Exactly.
and it would be better for you. It all has to do
Yeah,
with how you interpret the stress. Yes.
stress is there for a reason. It's actually a beneficial thing. You know, well,
Hey,
it could be used as a beneficial thing. It doesn't have to be a negative thing. All these things
true.
are just, even in the Hermetic principles, they say all these like stress and the opposite of it, bliss or whatever that would be, or it's the same thing, just different degrees of the same thing. You
Okay,
can't have one
but
without the other. So it's there
right,
for a reason.
right, Cage. Many of people will argue why they want to keep their stress, and I'm sorry, I remembered where I was going with what Niall was saying. Shit. Oh,
It'll come
stress,
back to you, but
stress. Even like in weightlifting, right? In order to grow, you need to increase the stress. We grow through the opposition of resistance by strengthening. So there is a place for stress. I'm not denying that. But normalizing stress is unhealthy. And
Can I jump in?
please.
So I weight lift and I understand what you're talking about. And yes, the weight itself is, it's at rest, but the moment you take it out of the rack, you now introduce a stress to the body. The only way to overcome that stress is through force. You're overcoming resistance through force. And so to make things right in our lives, sometimes you have to force it to work in a way. You know, you can't change the behavior patterns of everybody, but you might force certain stresses out of your life in order to right a course.
Beautiful. But that force, the serenity prayer, give me the control of what I can. The only thing we really can control is our will. And if I can bring it into kind of some tips I found helpful on how to relieve the stress, because stress is that resistance. Resistance comes from conflicts, from disagreements, and all of that stuff is just thoughts in the mind. So the way you can power through stress, right? And there is that gaining of strength. And there's times too when you push through stress, you hold yourself firm and stay strong. You gain the confidence through those memories. And that is really priceless. The other way to overcome the stress, though, is through surrender. And it doesn't mean a permanent surrender, but it means a surrender enough to find your peace, to find your grounding. And that's where they find your center. Because we live in this realm stacked with crap, right? The government and economic regulations, everything's been kind of stacked against what could be a real healthy and prosperous life. But so there is a stress we deal with in life, just in the normal day-to-day living. But stillness, peace, stillness reveals peace, and stillness is always available. Where I was going in the crap-filled world, it draws us out into our supposed obligations, right? To the employer, to the state, to the religion. We've got all these obligations pulling us out in different directions through our mind and awareness and our spirit. So each of us is the center of the universe. Our whole life, the entire universe revolves around us in a way. And so if you're going to be the center of your universe, go into your center and envision like an energetic core that flows through your spine, right? And it's like a force of energy, if you can envision it. And picture that center light as your center, your power. And if you can bring your mind into the center of your being, into the stillness of now, and take a breath and relax, and then recognize the world is continuing. All the stresses, they're still there, but they're not your problem, right? We can only control ourselves. And what our self is the will. Does that make sense?
No pain, no gain.
There is truth to that. I mean, I was thinking about this. Through massage. Massage is the loosening of tension. And so our bodies, they're carrying all of this tension, and we've normalized it. It's like there's so much, the muscles are bound and just, I don't know, memories of the past. But there's all of this comfort waiting to be discovered simply through the application of a little pressure. And through a little, and think about the collective through our governance and stuff. It's beautiful. Through a little bit of pressure, you get some manipulation. And with the manipulation,
what do they say? The squeaky wheel gets the grease.
But the noisy mouse gets caught as well.
That's the bipolar nature, the fucking dichotomy of the world.
It is.
Jack,
Hey, and this is
you're never gonna really figure out life, Jack.
says who?
Some people can do it, you can't do it.
Says who?
Says Bob Thomas.
I actually think I have figured out life. I've said this before. I remember math class in high school, finishing up the exam, and everyone else, they're all struggling and they're just still focusing and trying to figure it out. And I was like, guys, I think they taught you the wrong way. There's an easier way to do this stuff. Nobody wants to fucking listen to Jack. They want to listen to the teacher. So I just chilled out and enjoyed myself. Kind of like I've been doing the last 5 years.
Jack, if someone who's figured out life, I'm telling you, you're never going to figure out life.
Cage got it figured out, Jack. Listen up.
That's Bob Thomas.
It's Bob Thomas.
That wasn't
Hey,
even me.
That's a man with 2 first names. It's impossible for him to be wrong at this point.
I'm starting to think that's Austin Murphy trying to disguise his voice.
It sounded like Cage to me. Cage or JG?
This is Bob Thomas.
Well, we have to
Bob
remember, Jack, right? We have to remember that, a dream or an idea without a plan is nothing, right? So you need to formulate a proper plan and fucking do it.
Right.
Don't ask for help. If you go through help like life, expecting people to help you, you have to realize that no one's looking out for you like you are. You're the one who has to live this reality and be Jack and do whatever the fuck you do. So it's up to you to deal with your own shit. It's like, for example, lifting the weight. No one can lift the weight for you, right? So
Hey, Cage.
That's a base 1 lesson. We have base 2 lessons, base 10 lessons, base 1 lesson is look within.
If you guys shut up, you'll
within
fucking
your mind.
understand.
It does help to gain new ideas when you allow yourself to be quiet. Kind of like that
Mitchell, how you
squeaky
doing?
wheel.
Bob Thomas. How's it going, Mitchell?
Hey,
you wouldn't want somebody lifting the weight for you, then it destroys it.
Right,
You don't get
right.
anything
Hey,
out of it.
Cage.
What an
Cage.
idiot.
Right. So please stop making those stupid assumptions that that's what I'm doing. Look at there's another way to describe the same facts.
I'm not
Okay.
saying you in general. By you, I mean in general.
Here we go.
Me, you, anyone. It's just, you.
Okay.
It's a
So
point.
then you're just talking to talk.
Well, it's more generalized, and I'm not like attacking you specifically. It's more generalized. That's what I meant.
All right. No, yeah, absolutely. Once you know your purpose, then you develop plans. And with the plans, then as you go through your day, well, it's purpose and then goals reveal the plans. And so if you have a clear, defined purpose and goals within you, you don't need to remind yourself all day. You go through your day with that purpose, those goals in mind, and as opportunities come up, you take actions and move forward. It's really simple.
You're still befuddled. You're never going to figure out life.
So there's an opinion with no facts, just you claim it so you think it's true.
So I feel like he's like figuring life out at his pace, and the way he deals is different than you, and he may know life in an aspect that you don't.
False.
Okay.
All he's saying is he figured out life and he doesn't think Jack can figure it out. Whoa.
This is the metaverse, Paul. This is our reality. So they say. Welcome, Bob Thomas, too. Praise God. You know what? Here's the reality.
I'm pretty sure that's the guy who invented
Bob Thomas. That's no Bob Thomas.
What the fuck was that shit, bro? What the fuck?
That was inappropriate. What the fuck was that?
That
all
was
about?
our buddy.
That was the most
El
intelligent
Perro.
thing I heard all day on here.
That was our buddy El Perro.
Yep, that was
brilliant-
Wizard.
The
I had a
wizard.
feeling that was him. He ran out on me. I said, "Where's Wizard
That's
gone?"
What the hell was that?
And then he came
That's my
over
son.
here and
Bob
did
Thomas.
Chewbacca,
Bob
his version of
Thomas.
Chewbacca.
Bob Thomas II, get out of here. It's my son. Get out of here, Bob
Eating
Thomas.
all that lettuce on his cancer diet. He fucking had a little gas out.
Yeah, I thought Nyla was bloated.
I'm not sure who the first Bob Thomas was
The
either.
fuck was that shit?
Yeah, no, that's definitely, I think, the right one.
Don't fart shame, dude. I mean, dude's fighting cancer. He's got to eat a lot of lettuce.
You know, it's a type of stress, a gastrointestinal stress. And, you know, sometimes you got to blow it out.
This is my favorite infomercial.
This is fascinating. Just, I mean, you guys do know that we're living in a world of like fucking obvious slavery and oppression. You guys know that?
You said sound effect with a cop comes to the window.
Slaving it. I'm not a slave. I think I'm as far away as I can be of that for now. I think everyone in this physical world, even if you're rich or something, you're still a fucking slave, you know?
Right.
Doesn't really.
So, what the fuck are people doing?
I'm fucking off. I'm doing my shit. I'm making my own fucking land, living off that, and I'm just gonna fuck off. Like, you can't really do that much, right? Like,
Well,
the
not
most
with
you-
that. Hey, with those beliefs, you're right. You better go find a little cave or a little piece of land and go make sure you're safe. Build up some big fucking walls and ammo up.
Fuck all these.
No.
But no. But no. In all seriousness, though, you can help. But what it takes is getting enough people. Because if everyone was like us, you know, this shit would not.
Okay, so what are you doing to get enough people, Cage? You working on that, or are you just talking about it?
AK-47s and porn.
Planting seeds here and there, you know.
So nothing.
No, I do a lot, but what I do is I directly connect to people instead of doing it online. And what that does is it kind of spreads. You know, that definitely spreads because that person will tell another person, "Will continue." So what I usually show people some reading material to get into first. You know, some basic stuff.
Give them some homework.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of people doing that, assigning homework to other people, saying,
Not really
"You need to
homework,
learn what I learned."
No, just say like if you want to look into it, it's there. You don't have to. Like I'm not making them do anything. But just that, it's called planting a seed, right? Because they have to. It's the seed is within their own being, and it'll germinate whenever it wants and the way it wants, right? Because it's a different seed for every individual. It's like a fingerprint almost. It's So I don't know. It just does its own thing. It's none of my fucking issue after that. Right? I did my part. But yeah, anyone around me that'll listen, yeah, I'll talk about it and shit. They don't want to hear it though. They like living in their ignorance and little fucking la land, slave matrix land, or whatever the fuck they're in.
So did you give up then? Or I'm not sure what you're.
No, I'm doing my stuff, but I got to make sure to, you know, have my own area too.
Well, see, Cage, you guys know I love all of you, but you guys really frustrate me because you understand the concept of consciousness and unity and the force of oneness, yet your plans are all about doing everything yourself and everyone's got to do everything themselves, and I don't get that.
No, my plan is not that. I'll do the things for myself, and I can share that with other people. I'm not reliant on other people. You know, if you can't help yourself, how are you going to help anyone else? Right? Then you can just have it. You can wish you can, but you can't. Do it.
You help others by actually trying to help them with what is helpful. When you try to help people with what is helpful, you can usually find a way to succeed. But if you think you can't help anyone because you're not at some level, whatever, well, you just continue allowing others to suffer, I guess.
What about our
We got-
Chernobyl friend down there?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, and I do have someone else trying to get in. So with that, I'm going to guess they're not able to communicate very effectively. So I opened up some space for whoever was trying. Holy shit, Paul.
We're just hanging out.
Hanging out on the YouTube, man. But this is what we get, I guess. You make yourself available. You're gonna attract.
Jack, I understand what you're saying, and like that's what I'd love to believe too. What the fuck, man? That's what I love to believe too, but that's not reality. But you have to. That's not reality. You can't live in a disillusion. So there's only so much that you can accomplish. You can accomplish it in certain bubbles of reality. Like I feel like people here are just everyone's living in their own bubble of fucking reality in a way, and they're all intermingling in a greater picture. So it's
Cage. That is the absolute truth. Every one of us is living our own reality, and somehow these realities have crossed. And I have trouble accepting that my reality is real because of the fact that, well, you saw the news. These asshats and clowns fucking starting wars and people talking about all sorts of things. And
well, guess what?
can't
It's
be
because
real.
it's all fucking money, man. People's greed is definitely very real. People don't really give a fuck as long as they're good and they can live how they want to live. They don't really care what happens to other people. It's a
But
different level of that.
that's not everyone, and that's not true.
But the
But
people that run this shit, that's what they are like. That's why they got there in the first place.
right. So
You know
this
what I
is
mean?
what I don't Cage. This is what I don't understand. I think if we work together rather than just telling each other what to do, I think we could get in front of those people and let them know we want some changes.
Man, that's kind of like a childish way of going about it because that's not going to do anything. You cannot just
Okay,
go
wait.
be like, oh, I'm gonna go
Hey,
tell
Cage.
them
Cage,
how they're doing.
before you continue on with your imaginative narrative, you jump to a conclusion that my suggestion is childish.
No. But
Now,
don't
you
take
want to
that out of
present
context.
that conclusion? Let's discuss facts. What facts are you relying upon to determine my words are childish? Fool.
Okay, that's okay. I'm sorry. I shouldn't. I don't want to get you offensed by that. But what I mean by it is this.
What an idiot.
It's pretty much Jack. Look, Jack got real mad. Like what it is, it's pretty much like this. You can't just go up to them and be like to your parents or something and be like, "Mommy, Daddy, I don't think it should be going this." No, that's not how you're gonna change anything. Fuck the UN
Right.
in general. Have you
So
looked into the UN?
don't assume such a stupid.
These leaders
I'm
do
not
not
a
care.
fucking idiot. You want to discuss facts?
Jack,
You're right.
Jack,
you don't go up
re-
and say, "Hey, this doesn't feel
in reality,
right."
Jack, in reality, this is what would happen.
Hey,
Okay?
Cage. Hey,
Let's say you
Cage.
did come to some level of influence. They would just kill
Cage,
you like everyone
Cage,
else. That's what they would do to you.
Cage.
You have to attack them in a different way. You have to do it in a different way.
Hey, Cage. Thank you for pausing so that I could get some thoughts across to you.
All right, continue. I triggered you with that one.
No, you're obviously so set
It is like
on
a child.
defending-
It is a childlike.
so set on defending yourself. If I have
like a
to put you in the
childlike
back
plan.
because you can't control yourself, you go. Holy Christ, man.
Jack, from my perspective, your plan kind of seems to presume they're unknowing of what they're doing. And do you think maybe there's a reason for what they're doing?
Sure, everyone has reasons for what they do. As a matter of fact, when everyone becomes honest, Everyone does what they want. And that includes the self-harming stuff and the cruel things. Everyone does what they want.
So does it respect free will to want to change them, change their behaviors, change their mind?
Is it wrong to confront those who are harming others? Do you have
I
an
don't
answer
think
for
so.
that question? You think it's
I say I don't think so. That's my answer. But will you answer my question?
Please forgive me. What was your question again?
That's all right. I think you answered it with the non-answer.
Well, no, see, you're jumping to these presumptions, and the reason I didn't answer your question was because I I didn't see how it was helpful. Okay, now
So you're being really
could
quick to
one
defend your position, kind of like Cage was?
well, hey, Mitchell, after 7 months of my time being wasted and being mocked and insulted and disagreed with, after repeatedly saying I am making plans in what is I'm presenting here, you're not able to comprehend that maybe I've got a little bit of frustration and maybe my patience has been exhausted.
We do,
So,
but I see a trend of you blaming
all
that
right, so
on someone else instead
let's
of taking
discuss.
responsibility. And for instance, I just want to say one more quick thing is I think life is a lot of, if you change your perspective to look at it like life, the bad things that are happening to you are happening for you instead of always painting yourself in the victim light.
Hey, Mitchell, have you ever listened to my words? I mean,
Yeah, I'm trying to listen to him right now.
okay,
So
all right. Well, here, I understand when I point out facts, the facts of my life do present me as a victim. Now, I'm not blaming anyone. Okay. I credit God. I credit the Father. I credit my faith. I am so grateful every day. You've not heard me talk about how grateful I am for this life that I'm living. I mean,
well, for instance, you just said, do you ever listen to my words? Maybe you could look
yeah.
at it like you're failing to communicate if you thought I wasn't comprehending your words.
Or,
So,
or, or your lack of
or before you get
understanding.
into that bullshit fucking response, everyone says you have a problem with communication.
Don't listen to them, Jack.
Well,
you have this under control. These are just
actually,
unwashed plebs. They're at the bottom of the barrel. You're way above these scumbags. Don't listen to them, Jack.
actually, we are all sharing consciousness. We are all sharing time and the particular space of Earth, different locations, but we are all on the same playing field as far as I'm concerned.
Stop
Now,
being modest.
if you'll pause, I've actually studied communication, and while the results, I know everyone wants to judge the results, expectations of what has already happened. I've explained what has happened many times, and the results are God's.
Fuck you, Jack. You suck.
Hey, Thomas, I would also like you to consider, as I've said, my faith, my connection with God, my devotion to God, my goals of world peace. So, if it's possible, God
People
is
wanna
using me,
love you.
or if it is possible, God is using me for the goals and purposes that I have been inspired within me, not just some fleeting thought, oh, this sounds like a great idea. No, this is something I've meditated on, prayed about, considered, studied. So what blows my mind is that just anyone here on the panel, in the chat, or if you're listening at a later time, please allow yourself the what if. What if this is an opportunity to help serve God's purpose of a world of peace?
I have no doubt, Jack. No
What
doubt.
if there are opportunities here that have been ignored because our egos weren't ready to accept.
Would you be willing to accept that God has a purpose for suffering?
The devil has a purpose for you too, Jack, if you believe in God. But listen, before you fucking kicked me out, it's funny because you were talking earlier about unconditional love or unconditional. And as soon as I say one word, you go all into your fucking little ego, into your little, and then, oh, kick them off. And then you don't hear anything, like a little bitch, you don't hear anything. You just heard that one word and you heard nothing after it because it's all ego bound.
I'm still
Exactly the
listening
stuff you're
to
talking
you,
about.
which proves your false claims. And you certainly had more than one word. You were up here
No,
Shut
for a while.
I'm
up. You
saying,
both
Jack,
suck.
listen, when you heard when I said it was like a child, you got really upset about that. It is.
That was amazing, Jack. Your power is amazing. You are amazing, Jack.
Thank you. Thought I'd clean some space up here. There's been people trying to get in, and maybe a rotation of people, because obviously what I've offered, Cage seems insulted by and doesn't seem to find any value in, so he can take his happy ass elsewhere. Rad, I see a comment. You're muted on your end. Bob Thomas, I'm done with your games as well. I don't know who you are. So, Rad, how do you speak? Fucking amazing. Just consider, brothers and sisters, what if? What if?
Get rid of Lisa, Jack.
I'll trust that. Thank you. Thank you. What if? What if there is a greater destiny for us all? What if the stresses that we've normalized, the conflicts, the anger, what if that's been unnecessary? And what if the stress has been a deterrent or a handicap more than a benefit? Because I see a lot of people, if it applies, it applies. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I see a lot of people using the opportunity of the metaverse as a place to get attention. Not for any reason other than they lack attention. And when we lack attention and we're doing things externally, trying to get validation and approval or responses from others, when we're trying to get reactions, we're seeking attention. And if we're seeking attention, it means we have a lack within ourselves. And the lack, well, that's our problem. But the world profits from it. And the way the world profits from it is with our entertainment, distractions, conflicts, our lack of purpose. Well, the world profits from it through fear. And that's why, I don't know the right words to say for the ideas and meanings I'm trying to share to be heard. There is something to what Cage was saying about having the words to the right audience. I've been searching for the right audience. I've been searching for the relationships that I thought were available. I don't know what is going on here. Ernest, do you have something to say? I'm not sure. What purpose? Is the guy in the mask Moose?
He looks fatter than Moose. So I don't think that's him. I don't think Moose would have Chernobyl gear, but he is a weirdo, so I don't know.
Hey, Flo, people are social. We need attention. It's not a character defect. There is truth in that. There is truth in that. I mean, I've been judged and criticized because I'm seeking relationships, connection, not just attention, but connection. And actually, Flo, I think that might be the difference. People need connection, not necessarily attention. The ego wants the attention because it wants to feel validated. But the ego only serves a purpose here on earth. Its time is temporary, man. I don't know what to do. I think I'm ready to wrap up, guys. Unless you have anything.
Yeah, let's wrap it up, Jack.
Thank you, Paul. Mitchell, thank you for joining. I'm going to throw you to the back, though, already. Thank you for joining. I do respect your questioning and the way you do challenge what you think. It's not always correct, though, and I obviously didn't communicate it well enough yet, but it's happening. Brian?
Take care, Action Jackson.
Hey, Brian, you as well. You've been on your own search trying to figure yourself out. I encourage you to look within yourself, find that stillness within you, like you've been learning about, and that, what was that you shared with us? The open heart meditation, was that it?
Twin hearts.
Twin heart. You know, I encourage you to continue that. Find the joy and find the way to fill yourself within. And then, man, you're going to feel, when you reach that point where you feel good as you, the past is done, all that's left for you is the future, and you've got some confidence in you. When you're filled with your self-confidence, your gratitude, and your life, man, the world is your oyster. It's going to discover you. I think it's going to discover all of us. And this is just the backstory towards our success stories coming up. All right, Brian?
Appreciate that, Jack.
All right, brother. Have a good night. Okay. And brothers and sisters, I did just get someone who showed up in the back, but I am going to move forward with the wrap up. So I am Jack's slave. Thank you. Feel free, continue on. Brothers and sisters, I want to thank you, especially those on the panel, especially Paul. I hope you know my love. And I think the viewers, I think those followers who've followed you over to my platform, I think they see my love. And I feel the love. I feel the love from even those who want to come up and challenge me and call me a fool. I do feel the love even from Moose and many of the critics that I've been blessed to encounter. Brothers and sisters, once again, God bless, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear.